You're going to transfer shares tonight before closing time. My uncle said it casually, like requesting more water. He sat near the window. Best table in house. City lights behind him. No reservation was made. No warning was given. A glass of Merlot rested, half finished near his hand. My aunt checked her phone, barely looking at me. My cousin leaned back, arms crossed confidently, like he owned everything. He did not. I built this place. Every wall was planned. Every light carefully chosen. Every recipe tested repeatedly. 5 years without contact. They walked in smiling, as if nothing happened. Family forgets silence conveniently. My manager found me earlier. Her voice sounded uneasy. Private guests asking insistently. They refused to wait. I already understood. Success attracts sudden relatives. The dining room glowed warmly. Soft music filled spaces. Glasses chimed gently nearby. Conversations blended into comfort. My restaurant felt alive. I removed my chef jacket, folded it over arm, walked toward their table. I remained standing tall. Height creates subtle pressure. We must discuss business. My uncle spoke first. Call it opportunity sharing. I call it ownership. My voice stayed calm. My cousin finally spoke. I just need stability. His confidence sounded forced. Bad investments leave scars. Risky deals collapse suddenly. Creditors demanded immediate payment. Large debts create desperation. They slid documents forward. Folders neatly prepared beforehand. Signature tabs marked clearly. They expected quick compliance. They misread my silence. Give me until closing, I said quietly. They nodded confidently, mistaking calm for surrender. I walked back slowly, through stainless steel corridors. Kitchen heat wrapped around. Orders were shouted rhythmically. I entered my office, closed door gently. Sent one short message. Are you available tonight? Response arrived almost instantly. On my way now. Victor arrived swiftly. Suit perfectly tailored. Expression focused and analytical. He was my mentor. Years ago he advised. Protect assets before emotions. I explained situation fully. He listened without interruption. Then he nodded once. Do you want leverage? Yes, I answered. Then we build structure. He opened his laptop. Documents formed rapidly. Clauses aligned strategically. Language dense but precise. No ownership would transfer. Only secured financial assistance. Collateral ensured serious commitment. Default carried heavy consequences. Everything remained completely legal. I returned downstairs calmly. Late diners enjoyed desserts. Candles flickered softly nearby. They looked relaxed now. Confidence grew in them. I sat down quietly. I will help financially. Relief spread across faces, but under strict structure. My attorney clarified details. Technical terms discouraged questions. Responsibility sounded professionally intimidating. They skimmed without understanding. Pride prevented deeper reading. Pens moved across paper. Signatures formed binding promises. Folders closed with certainty. They believed victory arrived. They never saw design. Earlier that same morning, debt ownership quietly transferred. Purchased through private intermediaries, at significant discount value. Creditors preferred immediate certainty. Legal control changed silently. By signing assistance terms, they accepted structured obligation. I organized papers neatly. Funds release begins tomorrow, I said calmly. My aunt smiled warmly. Family supports each other. Sometimes support requires boundaries. Weeks passed without incident. Formal notices arrived quietly. Payment schedules clearly outlined. Asset claims legally registered. Phone calls began immediately. Confusion replaced earlier confidence. Anger softened into compliance. Contracts speak louder than emotion. Restaurant life continued smoothly. Reservations filled every weekend. Staff moved with precision. Kitchen rhythms never changed. Success prefers protected environments. One quiet evening remained. City lights shimmered below. Wind moved gently past. Victor stood beside me. You chose wisely tonight. Protection sustains long futures. I watched traffic flowing. Family mixes love and leverage. Business requires memory and structure. I finally understood balance. You can forgive history, but never surrender foundations, especially ones self-built. Time moved steadily forward. Letters arrived marked official. Payment reminders followed schedule. No one missed deadlines. Silence replaced confrontation completely. My cousin stopped calling. My uncle sent brief emails. Polite tone carefully measured. My aunt remained distant. Distance can signal acceptance. A quiet resentment building. I focused on operations. Seasonal menu changed smoothly. New suppliers joined network. Staff received proper raises. Growth felt stable finally. One afternoon, heavy rain. Clouds darkened skyline early. Dining room lights glowed brighter. Windows shimmered with droplets. I reviewed quarterly reports. Numbers showed healthy margins. Years of discipline mattered. Patience compounds like interest. Phone buzzed softly once. Unknown number appeared briefly. Voicemail arrived moments later. I saved it unheard. Some conversations change nothing. Closure rarely needs dialogue. Evening service began again. Guests filled tables quickly. Laughter rose towards ceiling. Cutlery chimed rhythmic patterns. Life continued without pause. Victor visited occasionally still, always precise with words. Protection is ongoing practice, he reminded me gently. Success invites new pressures. Preparation prevents forced decisions. I appreciated his presence. Mentor steady uncertain moments. Later that night alone, I stood near balcony. Cool air cleared thoughts. City moved endlessly below. Light stretched beyond horizon. I felt something unfamiliar. Not triumph, not relief. It was earned stability, the kind built slowly, without shortcuts or noise. My phone screen illuminated. Single message appeared quietly. Proud of you, kid. No name attached there. I recognized sender instantly. Old culinary instructor Marcus. First person who believed, before success looked obvious. I smiled, reading words. Gratitude travels across years. Support sometimes comes quietly. Not always from relatives. I typed brief response. Could not have done. Without your early guidance. Message delivered successfully. I locked phone screen. Reflections shimmered in glass. Past and present aligned. Effort leaves visible architecture, not just in buildings, but within resilient people. Inside calm decision-making, inside firm personal boundaries. Wind brushed across terrace. Kitchen doors swung behind. Another busy night awaited. I walked back inside, ready for whatever followed, because strength grows gradually, and preparation turns pressure manageable. Weeks blended into months. Momentum replaced lingering tension. Systems operated nearly effortless. Managers handled nightly pressures. I delegated more decisions. Trust strengthened team confidence. Autonomy creates resilient workplaces. New chef joined staff. Creative energy filled kitchen. Fresh flavors attracted critics. Reservations expanded into weekdays. Private events booked faster. Reputation traveled beyond city. Recognition arrived without chasing. An industry magazine featured. Independent builders shaping hospitality. My story-led article. Photographer captured rooftop twilight. City glowing behind glass. I almost declined feature. Attention invites unnecessary noise. Victor advised measured visibility. Silence protects. Presence influences. Balance matters in leadership. I approved final edits. Article published early Monday. Messages flooded inbox quickly. Congratulations from peers nationwide. Former colleagues reconnected kindly. Opportunity proposals arrived daily. Growth demands selective acceptance. Not every offer aligns. Discernment prevents future regret. One evening, closing late. Staff cleaned final stations. Music echoed softly inside. I reviewed inventory sheets. My phone vibrated twice. Message preview showed cousin. First contact since signing. I waited before opening. Emotions distort quick reactions. I read slowly seated. He wrote without excuses, without blame or pressure, working through consequences quietly, learning difficult financial lessons, thanked me for structure, said discipline changed perspective. Responsibility feels different now. He ended message simply. Hope we speak someday. I reread lines twice. Growth sometimes follows hardship. Consequences can teach gently. When delivered without humiliation, I replied thoughtfully measured. Glad you are improving. Keep honoring commitments consistently. Door remains open respectfully. Future conversations require maturity. Message sent without hesitation. Closure formed naturally there. Not dramatic, not cinematic. Just quiet understanding emerging. I turned off office lights. Kitchen stainless reflected dimly. Chairs rested atop tables. City noise softened outside. Elevator descended slowly downward. Lobby marble reflected ceiling lights. Night air felt cooler. I walked toward parking, breathing steady and unburdened. Some victories shout loudly. Others whisper lasting peace. I preferred the second. Engine started smoothly. Headlights cut through darkness. Road stretched open ahead. Past stayed where belonged. Lessons carried forward wisely. Because independence requires vigilance. And stability rewards patience. I drove home calmly. Ready begin again tomorrow. Morning arrived soft and grey. Clouds drifted above skyline. Coffee brewed rich and dark. Routine grounds, steady thoughts. I reviewed upcoming reservations. Weekend bookings nearly full. Private tasting scheduled Friday. Investor dinner planned Sunday. Opportunities now felt selective. Not desperate like before. Control changes decision quality. Late morning staff meeting. Managers shared performance updates. Costs stable across departments. Waste reduced through planning. Training improved service consistency. Small efficiencies compound significantly. After meeting kitchen walkthrough. Stations organised with precision. Knives aligned beside boards. Sources labelled clearly dated. Order brings mental clarity. Phone buzzed inside pocket. Calendar reminder appeared briefly. 5 years since opening. Anniversary arrived quietly today. I paused near pass. Memories resurfaced unexpectedly vivid. First day chaotic beautiful. Friends helped assemble furniture. Music played through speakers. Confidence mixed with uncertainty. Yet vision stayed unwavering. Build something worth protecting. Something entirely self-sustained. I stepped outside briefly. Cool air sharpened awareness. Sunlight reflected glass towers. Traffic murmured steady below. Time moves regardless readiness. Growth rarely feels dramatic. It accumulates subtly daily. Like seasoning in broth. Invisible yet transformative always. Afternoon brought supplier calls. Seasonal produce arriving early. Menu adjustments planned smoothly. Adaptability keeps systems resilient. Evening approached with calm. Golden light filled dining room. Guests admired skyline views. Conversations layered gentle warmth. I greeted familiar regulars. Relationships built long loyalty. Community forms around consistency. Not spectacle, not noise. Just reliable excellence daily. Later office paperwork awaited. Licenses, insurance, vendor contracts. Responsibilities never fully disappear. They evolve with expansion. Victor called unexpectedly then. Just checking operation stability. Protection requires periodic review. We discussed minor adjustments. Regulations change without warning. Preparedness prevents future disruption. Before ending, he paused. You built something durable. Be proud quietly always. His words carried weight. Validation from disciplined minds matters. Night deepened beyond windows. Service concluded without issues. Staff clocked out gradually. Final lights dimmed downstairs. I remained momentarily alone, listening to gentle silence. Spaces hold echo's memory. Effort leaves emotional architecture. I locked entrance doors. Alarm activated with soft beep. Street reflected neon colors. City continued restless motion. I stood observing briefly. Peace felt earned fully. Not borrowed. Not fragile. Just stable and grounded. Another day completed thoughtfully. Another step secured forward. I walked toward car calmly. Ready repeat process tomorrow. Because lasting success repeats basics. With care. With discipline. With quiet confidence daily. Seasons shifted gradually outside. Summer heat softened evenings. Autumn introduced cooler breezes. Menu evolved with harvests. Guests returned wearing coats. Candles glowed warmer indoors. Time marked progress subtly. Not dramatic, yet meaningful. I expanded wine selections. Local vineyards gained prominence. Partnerships strengthened regional networks. Community investment returned generously. Staff anniversaries accumulated yearly. Shared milestones deepened loyalty. Familiar faces filled shifts. Turnover remained unusually low. Culture determines retention strongly. Respect multiplies professional commitment. One afternoon inspection visit. City officials reviewed compliance standards. Documentation prepared well beforehand. Processes passed without correction. Preparation prevents urgent scrambling. Victor sent short approval text. Predictability signals operational maturity. Even small confirmations encourage. Later charity event invitation. Fundraiser supporting culinary students. I accepted without hesitation. Mentorship once opened doors. Now responsibility cycles forward. Event night felt nostalgic. Young chefs shared ambitions openly. I recognized former uncertainty. Drive mixed with self-doubt. I spoke about resilience. Consistency outweighs rare brilliance. Systems protect creative freedom. Applause sounded warm, sincere. Afterward, quiet conversation lingered. A student asked softly, "How handle family pressure?" Question carried personal weight. I chose words carefully. Forgiveness differs from access. Boundaries preserve mutual respect. Success cannot heal manipulation, but clarity prevents repetition. They nodded thoughtfully silent. Experience sometimes teaches indirectly. Late drive home reflective. Streetlights blurred past windows. Memories surfaced, then settled. Old conflicts lost emotional charge. Distance softened sharper edges. Understanding replaced earlier frustration. Not everyone grows simultaneously, but accountability encourages eventual change. Phone notification chimed lightly. Calendar reminder upcoming review. Loan restructuring nearly completed. Payments consistent without dispute. Stability built through enforceable structure. Compassion paired with accountability works. Weeks later, brief message. Cousin shared promotion news. Smaller firm, steady progress. Pride replaced former recklessness. Consequences redirected his trajectory. I congratulated genuine satisfaction. Growth deserves acknowledgement always. Winter approached with quiet grace. First frost glazed rooftops silver. Restaurant hosted holiday gatherings. Warmth contrasted cold evenings. Laughter carried across rooms. Gratitude filled conversations naturally. One late closing moment. Snow drifted beyond windows. City softened under white. Stillness amplified interior warmth. I reflected on journey, not meteoric, not effortless, but intentional and protected. Independence strengthened through structure. Peace maintained through preparation. Lights switched off gradually. Staff exchanged tired smiles. Another successful season concluded. I stepped outside quietly. Cold air felt invigorating, breath visible under streetlights, car engine hummed steadily. I paused before leaving, looking back at windows, soft glow behind glass, a place built carefully, a life arranged deliberately, progress measured beyond profit, security created through discipline. I drove into snowfall calmly, future open and manageable, because foundations held firm, and careful choices endure. The new year arrived, quietly without spectacle. No dramatic resolutions declared. Only refined intentions carried forward. Consistency replaced grand declarations. Morning routines resumed seamlessly. Inventory checks, supplier confirmations. Schedules balanced across departments. Stability thrives on repetition. Repetition builds reliable outcomes. January bookings slower naturally. Post-holiday calm felt welcome. Time allowed internal improvements. Equipment upgrades completed efficiently. Kitchen workflow refined further. Small optimizations reduced strain. Staff training sessions expanded. Young cooks gained confidence. Leadership grows through guidance. Guidance requires patient attention. One evening industry panel. Discussion about sustainable expansion. Peers debated scaling risks. Growth can fracture foundations. I shared practical perspective. Expand only when systems ready. Reputation depends on reliability. Reliability depends on preparation. Audience responded with interest. Afterward, networking felt purposeful. Conversations centered shared challenges. True professionals value process. Flash rarely sustains longevity. Later quarterly review meeting. Financial summaries displayed steady ascent. Margins healthy across services. Private bookings increased significantly. Catering branch showed potential. Measured diversification reduces vulnerability. Victor approved strategic roadmap. Legal frameworks updated accordingly. Protection evolves with expansion. Spring approached with soft rains. Outdoor terrace reopened gradually. Fresh herbs planted nearby. Seasonal dishes brightened menus. Guests welcomed lighter atmospheres. Natural light renewed interiors. Momentum returned gently stronger. One afternoon unexpected envelope. Handwritten address familiar sight. I recognized careful lettering. My aunt wrote inside. Brief message, sincere tone. Acknowledged past pressure mistakes. Expressed pride without conditions. No requests attached anywhere. Apologies arrive differently sometimes. Not dramatic. Not performative. Simply honest and restrained. I placed letter carefully. Some bridges rebuild slowly. Trust regrows through consistency. Time test genuine intentions. Weeks past no follow-ups. Respect shown through distance. That mattered more words. Restaurant anniversary approached again. Celebration planned modest scale. Loyal patrons received invitations. Team recognized for dedication. Evening filled warm speeches. Shared memories, genuine laughter. Gratitude circulated across rooms. Community formed lasting foundation. Late night quiet moment. I stood center dining room, remembering early uncertain days. Empty tables, hopeful imagination. Now space carried fulfilled purpose. Effort transforms environments permanently. Victor raised final toast. To endurance and foresight, glasses chimed softly together, a simple, meaningful sound. After guests departed gradually, candles flickered near exhaustion. Staff finished cleanup routines. Music faded into silence. I walked through corridors slowly, hand-brushing polished surfaces. Physical reminders persistent dedication. Outside air cool refreshing. City lights shimmered distantly. Years condensed into perspective. No shortcuts carried here. Only patience and protection. Personal boundaries preserved progress. Forgiveness existed without surrender. Strength balanced with measured grace. Car waited quietly nearby. Engine started familiar rhythm. Road ahead calm open. I drove forward peacefully, certain of direction chosen. Because careful builders understand, security enables genuine freedom, and freedom sustains lasting success. Years continued unfolding steadily, not rushed. Not stagnant, measured growth defined everything. New partnerships formed gradually. Aligned values guided selection. Expansion remained intentional controlled. Second location opened carefully. Different district, similar philosophy. Design echoed original character. Warm materials, soft lighting. Familiar identity preserved intentionally. Opening night carried nostalgia. Staff from first restaurant attended. Shared pride filled atmosphere. Foundations proved transferable elsewhere. Systems adapted without disruption. Preparations simplified complex transitions. Media coverage followed naturally. Headlines praised disciplined leadership. I avoided celebratory exaggeration. Sustainability matters beyond applause. Success whispers through consistency. One afternoon mentoring session. Young entrepreneur sought advice. Overwhelmed by investor pressure. Fear clouded decision clarity. I shared simple principle. Money should follow vision. Vision must never chase money. Control prevents misaligned partnerships. Shortcuts create fragile structures. Patience builds resilient frameworks. She listened, taking notes. Gratitude visible through relief. Experience transfers through honest dialogue. Later evening solitary reflection. Office windows framing sunset hues. Documents organized neatly finished. Order reduces cognitive strain. Phone displayed family group. Muted conversations rarely opened. Distance maintained healthy balance. Forgiveness existed without involvement. Care can coexist with boundaries. Occasional updates surfaced quietly. Lives moving along separate paths. No urgency to reconnect fully. Some chapters close permanently. Others remain partially open. Both outcomes deserve acceptance. Night staff closed operations. Second location reported smooth service. Leadership teams functioned independently. Trust empowered capable management. Freedom increased strategic focus. I visited original kitchen. Familiar sounds grounding presence. First workspace still inspiring. Origins anchor expanding journeys. Victor called during walkthrough. Just routine legal updates. Regulations shifting upcoming quarter. Preparation avoids reactive scrambling. His voice carried steady assurance. Professional alliances sustain longevity. After call silence returned. Equipment hummed gentle background. I rested palms countertop. Cool steel familiar texture. Memories layered across years. Early doubts replaced confidence. Fear transformed into preparedness. Pressure converted into discipline. Experience becomes internal architecture. Unseen yet structurally essential. Outside light rain began. Droplets traced window paths. City reflected fractured brilliance. Imperfections create visual depth. Perfection rarely feels authentic. I turned off kitchen lights. Darkness settled comfortably around. Alarm beep confirmed security. Steps echoed toward exit. Door locked with certainty. Rain cooled evening air. Breathing felt slow measured. Car headlights cut reflections. Roads slick yet navigable. Driving required steady attention. Like leadership under pressure. Grip firm but relaxed. Vision focused beyond windshield. Past visible only faintly. Future shaped through intention. Not chance. Not impulse. But deliberate, consistent action. I drove through rainfall calmly. Certain foundations would endure. Because structures built with care. Resist storms without spectacle. Quiet strength sustains longest. Spring returned with clarity. Trees lined streets greener. Morning light felt renewed. Energy shifted toward optimism. New menus celebrated freshness. Guests welcomed vibrant flavors. Bookings increased through recommendations. Reputation matured beyond trends. Stability attracted thoughtful collaborations. Local artists displayed installations. Dining blended with creative expression. Atmosphere felt culturally alive. Community roots deepened further. One quiet weekday afternoon, I visited culinary school campus. Guest lectures scheduled early. Students filled auditorium seats. Curiosity brightened attentive faces. I shared operational philosophies. Discipline supports sustainable creativity. Structure liberates innovative thinking. Preparation reduces emotional decision-making. Consistency beats rare inspiration. Questions continued beyond schedule. Ambition mixed with uncertainty familiar. I remembered similar beginnings vividly. Encouragement matters during fragile stages. After session, faculty thanked graciously. Partnership opportunities discussed afterward. Mentorship programs planned collaboratively. Investing knowledge multiplies impact. Evening traffic moved slowly homeward. City noise softened gradually. Billboards reflected passing headlights. Moments invited inward reflection. Years earlier, same roads. Different worries, heavier doubts. Uncertain outcomes clouded vision. Now perspective felt balanced. Challenges remained yet manageable. Experience transforms chaos into puzzles. Solvable through patient analysis. Phone notification interrupted thoughts. Message from regional supplier. Seasonal shortage approaching soon. Alternative sourcing required promptly. I made notes mentally. Adaptation remains constant necessity. Flexibility preserves operational continuity. Unexpected variables test preparation quality. Next morning, procurement meetings. Teams proposed viable substitutions. Menu revisions drafted efficiently. Guests rarely notice adjustments. When systems function cohesively, later afternoon rooftop pause. Gentle breeze cooled sunlight. City stretched endlessly outward. Construction cranes marked expansion. Growth visible across skyline. Urban evolution mirrors personal journeys, both shaped by steady effort. Victor joined carrying documents. Routine compliance updates required. We reviewed clauses carefully. Minor revisions strengthened protections. Preventive measures reduce future exposure. He closed folder satisfied. You've built durable systems. Now they support independence. His approval held quiet weight. Mentorship evolves into partnership eventually. Evening approached golden horizon. Dining room filled gradually. Soft music welcomed arriving guests. Staff navigated service gracefully. Precision replaced earlier improvisation. Confidence radiated through coordination. A regular couple waved warmly. Celebrating anniversary same place. They chose familiar comfort. Traditions anchor human experiences. I greeted them personally. Small gestures strengthen loyalty bonds. Night concluded without disruption. Closing routines executed seamlessly. Floors polished, surfaces gleaming. Final reports confirmed targets met. I powered systems down methodically. Outside stars faint above glow. Air carried distant city echoes. I lingered momentarily observing. Gratitude surfaced without announcement. Not dramatic, not performative, just quiet acknowledgement internally. Another chapter progressing steadily. Not chasing validation externally. Purpose anchored deeper motivations. Car waited beneath streetlight glow. Engine started gentle vibration. I drove through sleeping avenues. Windows reflecting passing lights. Calm accompanied measured breathing, because lasting fulfillment grows slowly. Through effort aligned with values. And protection shaped by foresight. The road remained open. I continued forward peacefully, ready for tomorrow's demands. Certain steady foundations persist. Built patiently over time. Dawn arrived pale and quiet. Mist hovered above riverbanks. City awakened without urgency. I arrived earlier than usual. Unlocked doors with familiarity. Interior carried gentle stillness. Pre-service calm feels grounding. Lights warmed empty tables gradually. Coffee aroma filled bar area. Routine preparations settled focus. Bakers delivered fresh bread. Steam rose from ovens. Schedules posted for teams. Notes outlined daily priorities. Small rituals reinforced discipline. Late morning investor visit. Potential partnership exploratory only. I guided them personally. Explained philosophy before numbers. Vision precedes sustainable profit. Short-term gains mislead easily. They appreciated transparent approach. Mutual alignment matters most. Talks ended without pressure. Doors remain open respectfully. Afternoon brought minor setback. Refrigeration unit malfunctioned suddenly. Temperature alerts triggered immediately. Backup systems activated smoothly. Crisis avoided through preparation. Technicians arrived within hour. Repairs handled efficiently on site. Service continued without disruption. Redundancy prevents operational panic. Evening crowd unaware entirely. To them, experience remained seamless. Behind scenes, teams coordinated precisely. Competence hides effort elegantly. After closing administrative review, incident logged for records. Preventive maintenance scheduled earlier. Learning follows every disruption. Victor sent brief acknowledgement. Prepared leaders expect surprises. Anticipation reduces emotional reaction. Night air cooler than usual. I walked empty dining room. Chairs aligned under soft lights. Glass reflected interior symmetry. Order creates psychological reassurance. Memories layered across surfaces. Early hardships now distant echoes. Progress rarely announces transformation. It accumulates quietly daily. Phone displayed archived photos. Opening week nervous smiles. Improvised decor mismatched plates. Hope carried entire atmosphere. I felt respect for beginnings. Humble origins shape grounded leadership. Success tastes different remembering hunger. I turned off final lights. Alarm tone confirmed protection. Street nearly silent outside. Moon reflected on pavement. Moments invited quiet gratitude. Not for status symbols, but for sustainable stability. For trusted teams collaborating. For mentors guiding unseen. For lessons disguised as hardship. Car door closed with thud. Engine hummed familiar rhythm. Route home comfortably memorized. Signals changed predictable intervals. Mind drifted through reflections. Family conflicts no longer heavy. Time reshapes emotional intensity. Perspective replaces reactive patterns. Forgiveness matured into neutrality. Care remained without entanglement. Some distances protect both sides. Home lights welcomed return. Windows glowing soft amber. I paused before entering, breathing cool midnight air. Acknowledging long path travelled. Not linear, not effortless, but intentional and resilient. I stepped inside calmly, ready to rest briefly. Tomorrow continues steady progress, because meaningful work never shouts. It endures through consistency and grows through protected purpose. Sleep arrived peacefully afterward, mind clear, heart unburdened. Another day awaited ahead, built upon disciplined foundations, sustained by quiet determination, and guided by deliberate choices. Morning sunlight filtered gently. Curtains glowed soft gold. City stirred beyond windows. I prepared coffee slowly. Steam curled upward lazily. Simple rituals anchor awareness. Calendar listed strategic reviews. Expansion plans required patience. Sustainable pacing prevents fractures. I arrived at headquarters early. Teams already reviewing reports. Screens displayed performance metrics. Healthy trends continued upward. Small dips analysed without alarm. Data guides calmer decisions. Midday planning session convened. Department leads proposed refinements. Workflow adjustments improved efficiency. Resource allocation balanced workloads. Listening strengthens collective intelligence. Good leaders absorb perspectives. Afternoon site visit scheduled. New location nearing completion. Construction dust-scented air. Blueprints marked final revisions. Natural light filled interior. Open spaces encouraged fluid movement. Design echoed foundational philosophy. Warm, minimal, functional welcoming. Progress visible in every corner. I thanked on-site supervisors. Craftsmanship deserves recognition openly. Respect motivates sustained excellence. Evening approached with soft winds. Return drive felt contemplative. Traffic lights reflected windshield streaks. Mind processed future milestones. Ambition balanced against sustainability. Growth must respect original purpose. Phone vibrated notification briefly. Message from operations director. All services running smoothly. Confidence built through reliable teams. Trust reduces constant oversight. Night settled across skyline. Buildings shimmered distant constellations. Office lights dimmed sequentially. Quiet reclaimed busy spaces. I remained reviewing projections. Long-term goals mapped carefully. Not chasing rapid domination, but building enduring presence. Victor called near closing. Regulatory update minor adjustments. We scheduled compliance review promptly. Preparedness avoids rushed corrections. Professional alliances sustained stability. After call I paused. Reflections surfaced without tension. Years earlier, uncertainty dominated. Now measured clarity guided. Fear replaced by structured foresight. Experience transforms risk assessment. Lessons embed into instinct. I packed documents methodically. Desk cleared for morning. Order promotes mental readiness. Elevator descent smooth silent. Lobby marble reflected ceiling glow. Outside air carried autumn hint. Seasonal change mirrors evolution. Nothing static remains healthy. Movement signals living systems. Car started under street lamp halo. Headlights cut gentle darkness. Road stretched quietly forward. I drove with calm focus. Grateful for resilient foundations. For teams aligned purposefully. For mentors sharing wisdom. For challenges forging discipline. City lights receded behind. Future unfolded beyond horizon. Not fully visible yet, but navigable through preparation. Because direction matters more speed, and patience sustains meaningful success. I continued driving peacefully, ready for tomorrow's responsibilities. Certain structure supports ambition, and intentional leadership endures. Weeks passed with momentum. Projects advanced without friction. Teams executed plans confidently. Communication remained clear, direct. Shared goals reduced internal noise. Operational rhythm felt synchronized. Autumn deepened colors everywhere. Leaves scattered across sidewalks. Cool air sharpened awareness. Seasonal menus featured earthy flavors. Guests lingered longer indoors. Warm lighting softened conversations. Revenue trends exceeded forecasts. Steady growth reinforced strategy. I avoided celebratory excess. Consistency deserves quiet respect. Midweek leadership workshop hosted. Managers discussed decision frameworks. Scenario planning strengthened readiness. Proactive thinking prevents reactive chaos. Collective intelligence multiplies resilience. After session informal discussions. Ideas exchange beyond agendas. Innovation often emerges casually. Unstructured moments spark insights. Evening brought unexpected visitor. Former supplier seeking reconciliation. Past disagreement settled respectfully. Professional bridges worth rebuilding. Closure fosters healthier networks. We agreed renewed collaboration. Terms clarified expectations precisely. Transparency prevents future misunderstandings. Nightfall arrived with steady rain. Droplets patterned window surfaces. Dining room hummed softly. Guests sheltered from weather outside. Comfort created memorable experiences. Hospitality thrives during storms. Late office reflection followed. Financial dashboards displayed stability. Long-term reserves strengthened gradually. Security enables thoughtful expansion. Risk managed through layered safeguards. Victor emailed contract revisions. Language refined protective clauses. Prevention cost less than recovery. I approved edits promptly. Administrative discipline sustains empires. Closing procedures flowed effortlessly. Teams anticipated responsibilities intuitively. Shared culture replaced rigid supervision. Trust built invisible infrastructure. Outside streets shimmered reflective. Traffic lights blurred through rain. Umbrellas moved like dark petals. I paused beneath awning, breathing cool damp air. Moments invited mindful appreciation. Not for scale achieved, but for balance maintained. Ambition tempered by responsibility. Strength paired with humility. Car interior quiet sheltered. Wipers kept steady tempo. Driving demanded gentle attention. Road curves mirrored life paths. Controlled adjustments maintained direction. Phone rested silent nearby. No urgent crises pending. Prepared systems reduce emergencies. Home approached familiar comfort. Windows glowing welcoming warmth. I sat briefly parked, reflecting on subtle transformation. Early years fueled by urgency, now guided by intentional steadiness. Pressure evolved into purposeful drive. Fear matured into strategic caution. Experience layered calm perspective. Success no longer felt fragile. It rested on durable systems, relationships built on mutual respect, boundaries communicated without hostility, forgiveness granted without vulnerability. I stepped from vehicle slowly. Rain softened surrounding sounds. Night carried peaceful stillness. Inside, warmth embraced instantly. Another day concluded thoughtfully. Not dramatic, not loud, but meaningful in accumulation, because enduring achievement compounds quietly, through habits repeated faithfully, through decisions aligned consistently, through protection maintained diligently. I prepared for rest, mind clear of turbulence, confidence grounded in preparation. Tomorrow promised new complexities, yet none felt overwhelming. Foundations remained steady, reliable. I welcomed sleep peacefully, knowing progress continues gradually, built by deliberate, disciplined effort, sustained through balanced leadership, guided by clarity and foresight.